today we have a very important topic. So basically it is water, and we have the seminar on the thirst of for safety, water quality and public health in Pakistan. So I will give a little bit overview and context on this topic. So first, I welcome all of you and especially Dr. Hifza Rasheed, uh, Director General Water Quality at the Pakistan Council of Research in Water Resource, PCRWR. So if we look the water, access to water, safe drinking water is not only a basic human right, it is also a fundamental pillar of public health. But still, Pakistan is facing a lot of challenges. And if we see the UNICEF report, it's showing that 65 to 70% of the household in Pakistan, they are using contaminated water. And around 30 to 40% of diseases like, for example, diarrhea, uh, typhoid, hepatitis, and even stunting, they are linked with this water issue. And you know that countries bearing huge cost. For example, if we see the stunting over the last 25 years, we are unable to reduce this stunting phenomena. Same if we see the PSLM data, the prevalence of diarrhea, that is the same. And we are also facing the floods. So floods are also basically they are triggering, and they are also impacting this lot of diseases, because when there are floods, so you know that sometimes water is mixed, certain sewerage as well as other water pipelines. So all these is missing. And we are facing a lot of issues. For example, there is rapid urbanization, there is slum population around the urbanizations. If we see the agriculture, we are using a lot of pesticides, fertilizers. They are increasing day by day, and it is creating a lot of arsenic that is contaminating the groundwater. So if we see the rural population, they are also facing huge acute challenges. So 2 days our seminar, it is basically it aimed to unpack all these issues, exploring the scientific, institutional and policy dimensions for ensuring water safety in Pakistan. So I am placing few statistics that can link with the public health. So first, as I have mentioned earlier, that's around more than two-thirds of our population that is using unsafe drinking water. And 30 to 40% of our hospitals case load, like for example, diarrhea, like other cases, that case is linked with waterborne diseases. And if we see the stunting phenomena, it have huge lifetime impacts in terms of education, in terms of productivity, and if we see the economic value, again, huge economic value is bear. UNICEF report says that 53,000 children in Pakistan annually die due to diarrhea and other unsafe drinking water. So if we see the prevalence of high stunting as well as mortality rate among infants, among children, it is largely linked with the water. And there is PIDE one research that is basically child malnutrition, and it again have interesting finding that in Pakistan, child malnutrition is not linked with food security as well as with poverty. It is largely linked with two things. One is the mother health, and other is water and hygienic conditions in the household. So we welcome Dr. Hifza Rasheed. Dr. Hifza is DG at PCRWR. So under Madam leadership, PCRWR, basically they have a lab network, and they have introduced mobile testing labs. So basically these mobile testing labs, they are facilitating the population in accessing the safe drinking water, as well as they have a lot of research on water issues. So we highly welcome you, Madam. So we listen the Madam, and then we have certain question answers.
Dear faculty members and students, thank you very much for joining me and for giving your precious time to listen to me. The presentation outline will include a brief introduction of the water challenges in the country, what are the water resources, because when we talk about the water, safe water and the quality of the water, the quantity of water is also very important. The quality and the quantity are both interrelated, and they both are directly proportional with respect to the impacts and as well as the availability. Uh, what are the water quality monitoring activities our organization is undertaking, key challenges, then how climate change is impacting the quality of water and its availability. What are the policy landscapes and the legal instruments which basically support the enforcement and the water quality culture in the country? And then what are the economic implications and what should be the recommendations and the way forward? So let's start with the water resource availability. We see that Pakistan has the multiple primary and the secondary water sources. But overall, altogether, our surface water availability, the annual water availability is 138 million acre feet, whereas our average flows at the canal heads, which are the water which is available at the canal heads for the agriculture purpose, is 104 million acre feet. And here I want to mention, because I know the PIDE undertakes a lot of research on the water availability as well. When we talk about the per capita water availability, we mostly consider the surface water, and the groundwater is generally not taken into the account. We say that agriculture actually consumes more than 90% of the country's water resource, whereas the remaining domestic and the industrial, it utilizes about 7 to 10%. 3% is dedicated or considered that domestic sector, like the water supply, they utilize the 3% of the available water. When we talk about the groundwater, there are several statistics about the groundwater, but generally what we have reviewed the different types of the reports, it says about 50 to 55 million of the groundwater is currently being pumped out to meet all the three sectoral needs of the country. This is just an overview of the groundwater or water availability. This is a map of the river system and the hydrological zones of Pakistan. Pakistan have the three major hydrological unit. Number one is the Indus Basin, a river system, and the second one is the Chahi Kharan, and the third one is the Makran coastal hydrological unit. So the major water which is available is in the Indus Basin, which meets the 90% of the country's agriculture requirement. And then other two basins, those have some surface water available and some coastal sources and partly the groundwater. But the main chunk of the groundwater is being pumped out within the Indus Basin. To utilize whatever the sources Allah Almighty has blessed to Pakistan, we have developed a big system of irrigation and the groundwater resources in the country. As you all will be aware that the Pakistan has one of the biggest contiguous irrigation system, and Pakistan has the fourth largest groundwater aquifer after US, China, and India. Despite this, we are facing water scarcity and the water unavailability issues. Our major storage reservoirs are three major reservoirs. Then Pakistan is also building the two big reservoirs in the form of the Diamir Bhasha Dam and Mehmet Dam, and which were targeted to upgrade the Pakistan's water storage capacity by 7 to 8 million acre feet by 2030. But I hope that those will be completed well in time if there are no financial implications. Then altogether, Pakistan's canal systems include about 61,000 kilometers of the irrigation system in the form of the canals, which are further subdivided into the water courses. And so in this way, these are some of the statistics. We also have a range of rainfall availability from the 200 millimeters to 1200 millimeters, depending upon the geographical diversity. Groundwater, one of the big source for the drinking water or for the domestic consumption, like 90% of the needs of the domestic consumption are generally met from the groundwater. Over pumping and over extraction is causing different types of the issues. Number one is the groundwater table depletion, and then the number two is its quality deterioration. So you can see here that Punjab, again, as I mentioned, it has a more area under the crop, so it extracts more water. You can see here that about 1.36 million tube wells are basically located in the Punjab, and um, a less share is in Balochistan, which you can see in the red color, or in the Sindh, because the Sindh has more waterlogged soil, so the pumping is not as much as with the Punjab. Over the time, there are several phenomena developed, including the groundwater table depletion, and PCRWR has undertaken a countrywide groundwater mapping of the whole Indus Basin and some areas outside the Indus Basin, which showed that our drilling depth has approached up to 1200 feet, and 1200 feet is in the Balochistan. Whereas if we talk about the Islamabad, it has gone down up to 800 feet. And the depth to water table is the maximum depth to water table has gone to 600 feet. So over the time, why we are facing this groundwater depletion? The first more important thing is over abstraction, a rapid development. There is no pricing system. As a result, we take the groundwater as a free entity. And then the second one is no recharge. The recharge is limited. There is a natural recharge. And then we have not made many efforts to recharge it artificially. Recently, we started some efforts, but actually we interfered with the nature's own system of the groundwater recharge by rapid urbanization. Most of the lands are paved. There are rapid real estate development. There is rapid and mushroom growth of the different types of the buildings, which have taken away the green land for the seepage and the percolation of the groundwater. As a result of that, there is not as much recharge as much we are extracting. In some seasons, like in the monsoon, the recharge gets better, but in the drought season, there is a decline in the water table. So we have a network of the parameters, and we are monitoring this groundwater table. So the seasonal fluctuations, we are also observing that why there are seasonal fluctuation. So I'll share how we are recharging the groundwater, and we have developed the different techniques, and we are trying to upscale, and we have also sensitized the different municipal authorities and the provinces to adopt these methods for the recharge. Why I talk more about the groundwater? Because 90% of our domestic needs are being met from it, and more we extract the groundwater without any control, it is also impacting the quality of the water. For example, arsenic is a second major contaminant in the country, and it is naturally present. It is a geogenic contamination, but our rapid extraction is also helping to mobilize the arsenic release from its parent material into the groundwater. If You can see here in the graph how our per capita water availability is trending. According to the hydrologist, a water-rich situation counts if the per capita water availability is above 1700 cubic meter per capita annually. And when we go down, you can see here in the green line, which shows that below 1700, it starts water stress, and then there is a purple line, which shows that the water scarcity line. And when we go below 1000 cubic meter per capita water availability, we come to know about the basically absolute water scarcity, which is below 500 cubic meter. Below 1000, it is basically water scarcity line. So where Pakistan stands, we have researched a lot on this issue, because time to time we get questions from the higher forum, like the parliaments and the different types of the agencies ask us about the water scarcity. Uh, Pakistan's water, as per hydrological cycle, it remains the same. There are two things which is impacting the water availability. One is our rapid population growth, and the other one is our mismanagement, ineffective water management. So, which is basically shadowing that we are actually declining with the per capita water availability. So, the population growth at 2.8% annually, according to the 2023 census, has shown that the per capita water availability is declining. So this is a issue, and this is again impacting the quality of the water. Overall, according to the national water policy, there are three major categories of the different problems or the challenges to the water sector. Some are related to the development, some are related to the management, and some are related to the governance. Governance actually handle both the development and the management. So you can read this, and I won't go in the detail of that. But one of the issue is inequity, unequal distribution of the water, unequal access of the water by the different type of the geographical, areas, and also the population. So this also results sometimes in the intermittent water supply. If we talk about the pipe network, the intermittent water supply also results in the deterioration of the quality of the water. These are some of the glimpses of the overall water challenges, which is now also being aggravated by the climate change. And other than this, the water issues include some illegal water supplies, water thefts, uncontrolled abstraction, no pricing system, wastewater disposal of the untreated wastewater into the water body, specifically in the surface water bodies. So the surface water and the groundwater, they both are hydrologically connected, and they become the part of the one aquifer. And as a result of that, if the surface water is polluted, obviously the groundwater will also be over the time it get polluted. In all these situations, what is safe drinking water? Water that there are different definitions, but what WHO says that the water that does not represent any significant risk to the health over the lifetime of the consumption is considered as the safe. SDG 6.1, it gives another definition. It also talks about the accessible on premises, available when needed, and free from the contamination. Pakistan's National Environmental Quality Standards for the drinking water, it has its own definition that these should meet the permissible limits of these national standard. So altogether, we defined that the water is considered safe if it meets all types of the public health standard. If it meets Pakistan standards, if it meets WHO guideline values, and if it also meets Indian standards or the American standard. So any water that come up to all these expectations is considered as the safe water. So this can be considered as the universal definition. Now I start talking about the Pakistan's National Water Quality Monitoring, PCRWR's National Water Quality Monitoring Program. This was the pioneer program which we started in 2001. And initially it included 24 major cities of the country, which were selected based on the population and the area. And this was a pioneer program which actually generated the Pakistan's first urban water quality profile. Later on, we also generated the rural profile, but this was the first. And if you see in 2002 to up to 2025, in 2025, right now, our program is ongoing in the 70 cities, and are almost, at the end of finishing the testing of the water samples and compiling the data. But whatever data we have generated, specifically the microbial contamination, you can see over the time we made an improvement, but that improvement is still not up to that level which actually was targeted by 2030. The map under the graph shows that the areas we covered. So we have a network of 24 water quality laboratories in the country, not only the labs but the offices for all types of the water related research. So these we covered the 70 cities recently in this year, and the diagram other than this shows the ranking of 29 cities with respect of the quality of the water. So we have observed those cities which are depending on the surface water supplies, are more having the contamination issues, specifically the microbial contamination. We are taking this program forward, and you can see here, this is a comparison of the 2025 and the 2022 data. We made an improvement, but that improvement is marked in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Islamabad, and Islamabad is little bit declined, Punjab. And Balochistan is also have been making an improvement in the 2022, but this year again, we see a in the deteriorative quality of the water. We have different assumptions for this deterioration trend or the improvement trend. Where there are political instability and there are some less economic development, the quality of the water is also deteriorated there. And unfortunately, I am very concerned about the Sindh province. You can see here there is no change. Even then, in 2022, it just showed that the 15% of the cities showed the safe water. And now we increase the spectrum of our monitoring in Sindh, and again, the level of the overall contamination is 85%, which is, an eye-opening, and it gives a warning that the people would have health compromises in the Sindh province. So altogether, in 2022, 39% of the population was estimated to have the safe water. And now, in the recent results, which are still ongoing, but whatever results we have generated, it shows that the 47% of the population is having access to the safe water. This data is reported by the Joint Monitoring Program of the UN, and they take the PCRWR's data as well as the data of the Pakistan Bureau of Statistics to take into account, to use in their regression analysis and other modeling to come up with a one figure for the country. Previously, it was something like, I think, 35%. Afterwards, in the 2022, it was something like 41% or 40%. But here you can see that that's also justifies here, and our progress for accessing the safe water by the 100% of the population by 2030 is not very remarkable. Rather, it is a worrisome situation. You all would be well aware of the SDGs goal 6, which says that the target 6.1.1 to achieve universal and equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water for all. And Pakistan had signed this SDG in 2015, and afterwards we are continuously gauging the progress we are making and where we stand. If you see here, it shows how we are approaching towards 2030. What is our journey? You can see the journey is, we are making a journey, but that is on such a slow pace that makes us to be more worried by 2030. And the good thing is that I have read some of the articles, and which also reveals that these are over ambitious targets for the developing and the least developing countries. So no country can make 100% of the progress in this SDG 6.1.1. But even then, if we see in 2025, we are at 47% of the pace. And if we project it on the same pace, which is over the last 2 decades, if we project it by 2030, only 55% of the population would have the safe water. And if we want to go by 100%, what we have to do? Pakistan requires to improve or expedite its efforts by sevenfolds. In 2022, when we said that Pakistan needs to improve its efforts by fourfolds, at that time, the UN Water had generated a report which also concluded that for the many countries of the world, they need to expedite their efforts by fourfolds. And we concluded this before UN Water. And now we said that Pakistan needs to improve its efforts by sevenfolds to provide 100% of the safe water to its entire population. Capital city of the Islamabad. Why I want to specifically mention about it and why I had this data to show here It's because it is the only well-planned city of the country, which is considered modern and which is a capital. Though with the efforts of the PCRWR over the time, Capital Development Authority has made a tremendous improvements in their system, because we have been monitoring them since 2001 or even before that. Recently, you can see here that in March 2025, it has 18% of the unsafe water sources, which generally remains fluctuated with the season change, or sometimes in the summer, or even, I don't want to mention here, but as it is a closed door meeting, and all the PIDE researchers are here. So whenever we do a joint sampling, we get better results. And when we do our independent sampling, or as a third party, then we get very bad results. But even then, CDA has made some improvement, but they need more improvement. In July, August 2025, they had overall 57% of the sources which were unsafe. And in January to September, they had 43% of the sources. So the Senate Standing Committee for the Water Resources and the Senate Standing Committees for the Climate Change have also, given them the directives and the strict instructions to make improvement in the form of the disinfection, or take the PCRWR's help. So they come up with the 18% of the unsafe water. There are several problems, because the Islamabad water supply is mainly dependent on the surface water supplies, and to some extent on the groundwater tube wells, which they have in the different residential sectors. So the surface water supplies are the main concern, because this is a very important aspect of the piped network when it is located away from the main residential areas. Like, I think it is about 40 kilometers. The Simli Dam is at 40-kilometer distance from the residential sources. So they make some disinfection and the chlorination over the source, and when it is transported inside up to the consumer, and during that pipe network, or during the supply, there are several dimensions, or the several reasons which cause this recontamination. That is a separate subject. But then there are several natural streams in the Islamabad, which have been basically recharging the groundwater as well. And over a decade ago, or the 2 decades ago, I think, these were the freshwater streams. And people who have been living here in Islamabad, like me, we witnessed that these were really the freshwater streams. There were fish in the streams, and there was an ecology. But over the time, this picture reflects our planning, our mindset, and our behavior, which actually have converted all these freshwater streams into the wastewater drains, or only the storm water streams. So PCRWR has also continuously monitored the quality and the flows of these streams. And there are about 7 streams which come up, which basically emerge from Margla Hills, and then these converge into about 19 or 20 different streams within Islamabad, and then they again convert into 3 major streams, which go into the Nalalai, and then into the Sama River, and then into the Indus River outside the Rawalpindi boundaries. We have seen that several streams, those showed a very low level of the dissolved oxygen. And there are some streams which show even the 0 level of the dissolved oxygen. 0 level mean no life at all, no fish, no aquatic life. Below 4 milligram per liter of the dissolved oxygen, the aquatic life starts becoming stressed. Like fish, the survival of the fish is compromised. And as far as the dissolved oxygen is declined, the fish quality and its abundance and its density, it also becomes lower. That's why we come up with the different news time to time from the different lakes and the reservoirs about the fish kill. Uh, PCRWR has also undertaken a countrywide surface water quality monitoring program, and this program is ongoing in 2022. We had monitored the 67 strategic sites of the Pakistan surface water system, which included more than 40 rivers, 25 reservoirs, several lakes, and several streams. And the western rivers, which are basically which are are less prone to the different types of the human interference, are better in quality than our eastern rivers. Eastern rivers, as you know, these come originate from our neighbors, and when these join in the country, the those are already polluted, and then within Punjab there are more industries, there are more residential settings, we get more pollution from there. So this program is also continued, and during the wet and dry season, as I was given the contents which included the seasonal impact. The seasonal impact is great. In the dry season, there is more pollution. But in the wet season, there is more, the spread of the pollution is more rather than the intensity. In the dry season, the intensity is more or the concentration is more, but in the wet season, the spread is more. So other than the normal microbiological and the physicochemical aspects, there are some traces of some restricted chemicals which are called organic, with some pesticides, some herbicides, and some weedicides. And we also found the traces of like DDT, which is already an outdated and obsolete chemical. We found the traces of the DDT even in the Rawal Lake. So these are some of the concerns, because all of these surface water are recharging our groundwater, and there are several areas like Islamabad, Karachi, and Gilgit-Baltistan where the surface water supplies are being used. So it's a concern, and the health of the river is very, very important, because the river, the lifeline of the country, backbone of the economy. And if the health of the rivers will be deteriorated, then obviously we will face the consequences. As recently the 2025 floods, the rivers have taken their revenge very, nicely, and we face the consequences. So ultimately, the center of the pillar is the human life that would be impacted. I also want to talk a little bit about the transboundary pollution in the eastern rivers. We are continuously gauging the transboundary rivers and the drains, and for our ministry, so that they had to report to the neighboring country. And um, there can be certain, levels of the pollution coming from the neighboring countries, but we have seen that our own house is not in order. So first we need to bring our own house in the order with respect to the quality and the quantity of water in eastern rivers and the transboundary drains. I would mention here the Hudiara drain, which is a big drain, originates from Indian side and comes to the Pakistan. And there are, in Lahore, there are 450 textile industry units, which are basically, and other industries which are dumping their waste into the Hudiara drain. So the enforcement of the Environmental Protection Department counts a lot in maintaining an effective and healthy quality of the water within these drains and the rivers. So these drains ultimately dump their water into the Ravi and other eastern rivers, and finally, by somehow the contamination there reach to the human bodies. Either it is through the aquatic life like the fish or the water supplies, or through the irrigation practices. So we are also continuously gauging, and we are trying to make the things better and sharing all these findings with the necessary stakeholders for the enforcement purpose. Uh, Another activity which we have completed in about 2005 to 2007 to 2021 timeline was monitoring the persistent organic pollutants. These are the pollutants which basically cause the different types of the neurological disorders, birth defects, and both in mother and fetus and in the children. These are called POPs. And why these are called POPs? These basically have a high level of the persistence and the bioaccumulation. And these can, even if there is no source in a place, these can travel with the bird feathers, with the water, and even with the air to another place and cause contamination. And their biodegradation age is 500 years, just like the plastic bags. And even they take more time than the plastic bags. And Pakistan had signed the Stockholm Convention in 2006. And since then, afterwards, there was an obligation that Pakistan has to continuously monitor this. So we had a publication which is available on our website. And if someone is interested, they can go through that. And based on this data, the Ministry of Climate Change had developed the Pakistan's national phase out plan for the POPs. And still, the farmers need lot of awareness on these restricted chemicals. Still, the stockpiles exist, and those required safe disposal. And we are unsure about the different types of the neurological disorders, central nervous system disorder, and the birth defects, that what are the actual reasons. So this can be one of the reason. Then after the microbial contamination, arsenic is one of the leading water quality contamination in the country, mostly in groundwater of southern Punjab and Sindh. Even in some areas of the northern Punjab, the arsenic is also, we have also detected arsenic. PCRWR has published a big report based on its 20 years monitoring of the arsenic in the groundwater in 2023. And that includes 50,000 groundwater sources, which showed that all the areas in the river floodplain, specifically close to the Indus River, are having more arsenic. And that is due to some dissolution, reductive dissolution processes. And more we are extracting water, and more it is closer to the river, because those igneous and the sedimentary rocks containing the arsenic, those are lying close to the Indus Basin. More we go away from the river floodplains, arsenic concentration also declines. So we have also developed the different type of the methodology for the household to the semi-community level for removal of the arsenic from the water. And however, this is a very important work. And we also, then a question arises from the WHO regarding the safe permissible limit of the arsenic in rice, because it as you people work on the economy, so I give a idea, and hopefully some would already be working, that how the different types of the GMOs and the different types of the contaminations are causing a decline in the Pakistan's export, impacting rice and other food products. So we are continuing this research and monitoring the arsenic in the of the time was kept due to the shortage of time. Salinity is also a big issue, and it's our work on the. And you can see the green area are the fresh water, and the red area are the saline zones. And so we have done a country-wide mapping of the groundwater in the for awareness of the different stakeholders, specifically the farmers, that where the tube wells should be drilled. This is a glimpse of our bottled water quality. Federal cabinet had given us a directive to undertake the quarterly monitoring of the commercially available brands, the bottled water, and publicize the results and disseminate the findings to all the stakeholders, including the general public. Over the time, there is an improvement. And the most important thing is that 4 times in the year, we share these findings with the chief secretaries and with the food authorities, and also the Pakistan Standard Quality Control Authority. So there is an improvement. The regulatory system is more strengthened, but still there is a mushroom growth of the different types of the bottled water brands. The public health, what are the public health concerns? So I won't go deep into that, but these contamination, different types of the contaminations is causing gastroenteritis, A, B, and E, typhoid. And then other than these aspects, the antimicrobial resistance is one of the implications the world is concerned. Most of the antibiotics being used in the environmental sector, human health sector, and the animal sector is pooling or dumped into the environment. mostly in the water bodies. We are also monitoring that, and we are also working on the national action plan on the antimicrobial resistance in collaboration with the Ministry of Health and the National Institute of Health. There are several policies. So this situation is prevailing, but there are several policies and several acts and ordinances in the at the national level and at the provincial level, which basically you know give an obligation of the standards and a right the common citizen to the safe water. One of the premier document is the National Water Policy, then National Drinking Water Policy. There is Punjab Water Policy, Punjab Water Act. Then we have the Sindh Water Policy recently approved. Then we have the GB's Water Policy, which is all near to approval. We have the Balochistan IWRM policy, and we also have the KP Water Act. All these different policies and the documents. And other than this, there's a national climate change policy and then provincial climate change policies. All these policies actually give an obligation on government and on the water supply agencies to provide the safe drinking water at the consumer end. But unfortunately, the situation not that improved, and its lack of enforcement, weak governance, and some a lack of the regular third-party water quality surveillance system. So Pakistan's progress towards the safe drinking water targets of SDG 6.1, why it is slow. There are several economic and institutional constraints, which the most important is that our water supply service providers do not have the model. There is lack of financial sustainability. There is no concept of the service delivery. And then we also have some infrastructural challenges, old, outdated, aging piped infrastructure, piped water supply infrastructure is also a concern. So in this way, then the lack of behavior, lack of technical capacity in the service providers, all these things are all together, trying to impact in a negative way. So that's why we are a little bit slow in the meeting the progress of the SDG 6.1.1. Other than the pipe water supply, there are some decentralized water systems, water treatment systems, which have proved to be effective for the community level water supply. One of the examples is our project with the Moderator Pakistan, in which we installed the two big units for some slum areas in Karachi. And on the public participation, like with the contribution of the minor cost for the treated water, this system is being operated and well maintained, and we had trained some of the community members to operate and maintain these systems by their own efforts. So these can be some of the models, and there are several models in the country which are successful, and there are several models which have been the failure cases. These are some of the examples of the sustainable use of the non-conventional water sources. Here I want to highlight, other than several other needs of the country, we also have to produce some fresh water using the coastal water or the marine water sources. And here we need to understand that how the countries in the Gulf have become the world leaders in the desalination. Now they are using the renewable sources of energy, and they have proved to be some world leading countries in with respect to the production of the desalinized water to meet their domestic industrial and agriculture needs. Saudi Arabia and UAE and Turkey, they are the world leading countries. So if you want, you can also study their models. PCRWR's one of the milestone work was on the Karezis in the Balochistan. We never thought about the Karezis. These are the ancient structures, and PCRWR have demonstrated the rehabilitation of the Karezis, and as a result of that, those were clogged, some were blocked, some were dried, some were outdated, but the shallow water was there. So PCRWR has rehabilitated these structures and produced good models. As a result of that, the water flow increased by 4%, and this water is meeting the needs of the domestic and agriculture and all the needs of the local communities. चलिए मैं बस क्लाइमेट चेंज को करती हूँ. क्लाइमेट चेंज, एज यू वुड बी knowing that Pakistan is the topmost climate impacted country, and Pakistan is the fourth biggest water user. Pakistan's water productivity and efficiency is also very low, and with all these climate change impacts, with the rising temperature, we have both type of the situation: more water or no water. Either there are floods or there are droughts. In both cases, the water quality and the quantity both are affected, and both situations are producing the different types of the public health impacts, which come up in the form of the waterborne diseases, gastroenteritis, cholera, and then typhoid and other types of the waterborne implications. When we talk about how much to spend on the availability of the safe water, the WHO says that $1 invested in the water and sanitation would return $4.3 in the form of the reduced healthcare cost for individuals and different economic return. Pakistan is spending previously we were spending about 88 billion rupees in the water sector. Recently, it has inclined to 256 billion rupees in the water sector. But most of these finances are spent on the infrastructure and the water storage. Pakistan's unsafe water is reported to cost about 93 billion rupees annually in the different forms like medication, diarrheal diseases cost, investment on the bottled water, and low productivity, low academic achievements. So this gap actually have been studied by the World Bank, and it says that to meet the target of the SDG 6 by 2030, Pakistan would require 450 billion rupees annually to invest on the water and the sanitation sector. Here, I also want to give an example of a model a water supply system in the Changapani peri-rural area of the district Sargodha. And here we monitored a supply system called the Changapani program compared to the government non-metered system on the flat rate. They charge on the flat rate. Changapani program charge on the use of the actual volumetric consumption by the consumer. So we came to know that these metered system can work in the country if it is properly taken care of that. And the system by the Changapani, which is a basically public-private partnership model, it recovers 87% of its cost of investment and operation, whereas the government system, Tehsil Municipal Authority, 15% of their cost. So the recommendations and the way forwards I would skip, because I think with the all these slides I have discussed all the forward as well. Thank you very much for listening me, and I hope it would be beneficial for your knowledge and awareness.
Thank you, Dr. Hifza. Uh, Excellent presentation and even eye-opening presentation as well. So good thing is that safe drinking water is improving if we see the last 5-year data. But still 53% of the population, they don't have the safe drinking water. And this number goes to 85% for Sindh. So, मैडम मैं थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूज हूँ मुझे बताइएगा कि फॉर एग्जांपल इफ वी सी द एग्रीकल्चर वी आर यूजिंग मोर फर्टिलाइजर्स देर इज मोर पेस्टिसाइड्स देर इज मोर अर्बनाइजेशन और स्लम्स भी बढ़ रही हैं और उसके साथ जिस तरह आपने कहा है कि हमारे जो रिवर्स हैं उनकी हेल्थ भी डिटेरिएट हो रही है एंड विद पैसेज ऑफ टाइम आर्सेनिक इज राइजिंग तो मुझे बताइएगा कि ये जो नंबर हमारा सेफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर का बढ़ा है बिकॉज आई थिंक वाटर इज़ अ प्रोविंशियल सब्जेक्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ एसडीजी तो क्या वाकई इज देयर पॉलिसी जिसके थ्रू हम चल रहे हैं और स्टिल अगर आप देखें तो देर इज स्टिल गवर्नेंस इशू क्योंकि जो आपने इवन ये बॉटल वाटर को भी कहा है तो वो भी कोई 2017 से नंबर चेंज नहीं हुआ जो परसेंटेज आपकी सेफ की दैट वाज इन 2007 स्टिल आज भी आफ्टर 7-8 years दैट इज स्टिल द सेम तो क्या वाकई ये प्रोविंशियल लेवल पे सीरियसनेस है कि जिसकी वजह से दिस सेफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर इज इम्प्रूविंग या लोग फिर बेचारे अपनी मदद आपके तहत ही कुछ कर रहे हैं सो इट्स बेसिकली पब्लिक इन्वेस्टमेंट तो क्या है, आप जरा थोड़ा सा बताइएगा, एंड देन वी टेक फ्यू क्वेश्चंस।
जी, हमारी सैम्पलिंग है वो तमाम तरह के पानी की है, मतलब हम प्राइमरी सोर्सेज भी ले रहे हैं और सेकेंडरी सोर्सेज भी ले रहे हैं। उसमें बॉटल वाटर नहीं है इस डेटा के अंदर, बॉटल वाटर का एक अलग से प्रोग्राम है। अब जो हाउस होल्ड सोर्सेज हैं, समटाइम्स अब अवेयरनेस बढ़ चुकी है, लोग अपने सोर्सेज को खुद भी थोड़ा सा टेक केयर कर लेते हैं। लेकिन अगर आप देखें तो इम्प्रूवमेंट तो इतनी ज्यादा नहीं है। मतलब पंजाब और केपी और इस्लामाबाद की जो इम्प्रूवमेंट है वो वैसे इम्प्रूवमेंट रिफ्लेक्ट हो रही है, लेकिन वो उस तरह इम्प्रूवमेंट नहीं है कि अगर हम कहें कि हम 90% सेफ वाटर दे रहे हैं, इस तरह से नहीं है। उनकी फिगर्स जो है वो 50 और 60 के दरमियान ही वेरी कर रही है। इस्लामाबाद की शायद थोड़ी सी ज्यादा वो है, लेकिन इस्लामाबाद में ये है कि सीडीए के ऊपर बहुत प्रेशर होता है और वो डिसइंफेक्शन और ये चीजें, मतलब दे टेक केयर ऑफ द थिंग्स। लेकिन अगर आप बलूचिस्तान में देखें और जब से एसडीजी साइन गवर्नमेंट में कुछ सीरियसनेस आई है, एजेंसीज में भी आई है, सर्विस प्रोवाइडर्स में भी आई है, कुछ थोड़ा सा काम हुआ है। ऐसा नहीं है कि बिल्कुल, पहले तो ये था 85% सेफ अनसेफ वाटर था। हमारी जो 2014 की जो आउटकम्स थी वो 2012 की जो आउटकम्स थी वो 85% वाटर तक था कि वो अनसेफ है। लेकिन अभी चीजें जाहिर है, अवेयरनेस भी आई है, हमने भी उसको बहुत सेंसिटाइज किया है और इसी तरह से जुडिशल कमीशंस बहुत सारे बने हैं। तो कुछ चीजें बेहतरी आई है, लेकिन वो बेहतरी उस लेवल पे नहीं है जिस पे आनी चाहिए। तो शायद लेकिन सर जो है ना, ग्राउंड वाटर, एक्चुअली हमारा ग्राउंड वाटर बहुत ज्यादा यूज हो रहा है। ग्राउंड वाटर कंपेयर टू द सरफेस वाटर वो थोड़ा लेस कंटामिनेटेड होता है, क्योंकि वो जाहिर सी बात है कि कंफाइंड एक्वीफर के अंदर है। तो जो फर्टिलाइजर वगैरह हैं वो उस तरह से सरफेस वाटर को ज्यादा इम्पैक्ट करते हैं कंपेयर टू द ग्राउंड वाटर, उनको करते हैं। लेकिन वो वाले ग्राउंड वाटर सोर्सेज जो कि बिल्कुल क्लोज टू द कल्टिवेटेड एरिया उनको है। लेकिन अगर आप अपनी स्लाइड्स को दोबारा देखेंगे तो वो इतनी कोई खास इंप्रूवमेंट नहीं। हमने हर साल सिर्फ 7% इंप्रूवमेंट की है। हर साल नहीं, सॉरी, ओवर द 5 years हमने सिर्फ 7% इंप्रूवमेंट की है। हर साल सिर्फ 1.8% है। तो ये दिस इज नॉट आई मीन एनकरेजिंग इम्प्रूवमेंट।
So let's take a few questions from floor. Zishan Rao.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Zishan. I am from PIDE. In the cross city comparison, आपने comparison किया, सियालकोट का भी comparison किया, कराची का भी comparison किया. Both cities are industrial cities. कराची थोड़ी बड़ी है, सियालकोट थोड़ी छोटी है, but still both are very large industrial cities. तो इतना extreme फ़र्क क्यों है? Why सियालकोट has such a positive figure and why कराची has such a negative figure in case of water?
इससे लिंक सवाल है कि जो आपने सियालकोट और वो ऊपर सिटीज दिखाए थे दो, वो रैंकिंग में टॉप पे हैं या सेफ वाटर के जो इंडेक्स है उसमें टॉप पे हैं? क्योंकि आपने ग्रीन दिखाया बिल्कुल, सो इट्स बिट मिसलीडिंग कि वो
कलर से आपने वो ना देखा, वो
रैंकिंग सिर्फ रैंकिंग है, बट वाटर इज नॉट सेफ एज मच, बट सिर्फ रैंकिंग में टॉप पे
सिर्फ रैंकिंग में टॉप है। अच्छा, कराची में सरफेस वाटर सप्लाई ज्यादा यूज हो रही है और वो कराची इज अ ह्यूज मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी। और कराची का जो हमने जब मॉडल स्टडी किया तो सोर्स पे तो बहुत अच्छी क्लोरिनेशन हो रही है, और जब वो जाती है एक लॉन्ग ट्रेवल डिस्टेंस करके ना नॉर्थ नाजमाबाद, या वो उस वक्त तक क्लोरीन जो है वह उसमें फिनिश हो चुकी होती है। और फिर कराची के बहुत ह्यूज इश्यूज हैं वहाँ पे, वेस्ट वाटर के अंदर से पाइप्स गुजर के जा रही हैं। आप अगर लियारी नदी को देखेंगे तो वहाँ पे वाटर सप्लाई के पाइपलाइंस सीवेज के अंदर से गुजर के जा रहे हैं। कराची की सिचुएशन काफी वो है। कराची पे एक जुडिशियल कमीशन भी बन चुका है ऑलरेडी, जो कि 3 साल काम करता रहा और हमने उसको उसमें बहुत ज्यादा कंट्रीब्यूट किया। बट इवन देन सिचुएशन इज नॉट गुड। सियालकोट में ये कि चूंकि ग्राउंड वाटर ज्यादा यूज हो रहा है, हाउस होल्ड वाटर ज्यादा यूज हो रहा है, और लोगों की जो डोमेस्टिक बोर्स हैं वो ज्यादा हैं, इस वजह से सियालकोट की अभी भी हम कुछ काम कर रहे हैं डीसी ऑफिस के साथ। तो आई एम वेरी एस्टोनिश्ड के उनके सोर्सेज बेटर हैं कंपेयर टू, अगर हम वही कसूर में चले जाएं तो आपको आर्सेनिक मिलेगा। आर्सेनिक इज अ ह्यूज इशू। तो ग्राउंड वाटर की जो प्रेजेंस है वो कहाँ पे है, ये भी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। सरफेस वाटर सप्लाईज अगर आ रही हैं तो उसकी जो सोर्स के ऊपर ट्रीटमेंट है, और जो कंज्यूमर एंड तक जब वो जाता है उसकी क्वालिटी वो बहुत मैटर करती है।
एक आपने ग्राफ दिखाया है खैबर पख्तूनख्वा, पंजाब और इस्लामाबाद के, किसमें
जी
कुछ
जी।
इंप्रूवमेंट आई है, बट बड़ी स्लाइड इंप्रूवमेंट है। एक 2020 में तो फिर 2025 में। सो आइदर इज द इम्प्रूवमेंट इन द क्वालिटी वाटर, या आप कह रही हैं कि हमने सैंपल भी इंक्रीज किया, तो ये सिर्फ नंबर
दोनों चीजें हैं, दोनों चीजें। थोड़ा सा क्वालिटी उनकी इंप्रूव हुई है, और उसकी केपी में क्या वजह है? केपी में उन्होंने वाटर सप्लाई कंपनीज बना दी, जैसे आपकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की कंपनीज, उन्होंने वाटर सब पब्लिक प्राइवेट पार्टनरशिप टाइप बना दिया कुछ उनके डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स में। उससे वो चूंकि हम उन डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स को हमारे प्रोग्राम में शामिल हैं, तो इसलिए वो फिर वो इम्प्रूवमेंट भी रिफ्लेक्ट हो रही है। लेकिन वो भी इम्प्रूवमेंट है कि नंबर ऑफ सैंपल्स के लिहाज से, क्योंकि पहले 29 सिटीज हमने किए हैं, अब हम 70 सिटीज कर रहे हैं। बट इट्स अभी तक हमारा, अभी ये जो ग्राफ है ये नीचे भी जा सकता है, क्योंकि ये सिर्फ माइक्रोबियल कंटेमिनेशन शो की बेस के ऊपर हमने 2025 के रिजल्ट्स प्रोजेक्ट रिफ्लेक्ट किए हैं। अगर जब हमारे केमिकल के और हैवी मेटल्स की टेस्टिंग हो जाएगी तो हो सकता है ग्राफ नीचे चला जाए, बट ये कि ऑब्वियसली इट्स एन ऑन गोइंग, तो बाय दिसंबर वी वुड बी एबल टू कंक्लूड इट।
Ma'am, considering to the climate challenges we face, such as droughts, floods, rising temperatures, so what are the key actions or policy targets do you think are the most urgent to ensure safe drinking water, particularly in marginalized areas?
In the marginalized areas, the most important thing is the source protection under the flood conditions, and then making the water available during the drought conditions. Two things. Number three is the effective water treatment, and quality assured water distribution matters a lot. And then climate resilient infrastructure, pipe infrastructure, and water storage infrastructures are very, very important. When there are floods, all the contamination from the sewage systems, those are basically bubbled into the underground water storages. Then the public awareness is very important. It is very important to teach the general public that the cleaning and regular disinfection of their underground water storage and the overhead water storage is very important. And then water testing, we need to introduce the public with the culture of the water testing. Other than this, the technical capacity of the water supply service providers is very important. Disinfection at the source, and making sure that it reaches to the consumer, and with the proper, guarantee of having the less chances of the recontamination is very important.
क्वेश्चन तो मेरे उनके साथ लिंक्ड ही हैं, लेकिन मैं थोड़ा बेसिक्स समझना चाहूँगा। एक तो ये है कि आप सेफ वाटर की डेफिनेशन को इसे डिफाइन किस तरह कर रहे हैं। दूसरा ये कि जब आप सैम्पलिंग फ्रेम ले रहे हैं जिससे आप ये डिफाइन कर रहे हैं कि अच्छा ये सेफ अनसेफ है, वो क्या कोई लैब टेस्टिंग मैकेनिज्म है, या कोई आप सोर्स के अकॉर्डिंग डिफाइन करते हैं कि अच्छा ये सेफ अनसेफ? एक सवाल ये है। दूसरा ये है कि आपने एक ग्राफ शो किया था जिसमें आप पर कैपिटा बता रहे थे कि पर कैपिटा वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी, अब वो लाइन देखेंगे तो वो डाउनवर्ड ट्रेंड है उसका, और वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा बस फेयरली स्कैरसिटी की तरफ हम जा रहे हैं। अब इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट को आप नज़र में रखें और दूसरी साइड पे आप अपने सेफ वाटर की स्टैटिस्टिक्स देखें। आप मतलब ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि जो पानी अवेलेबल है उसका 70% या 50% भी एक सिग्निफिकेंट नंबर है, 50% सेफली अवेलेबल है, ठीक है? 47%, लेट्स से एवरेज ओवर ले लेते हैं। एक साइड पे हमारी वो पर कैपिटा नीड्स पूरी नहीं हो रही, दूसरी साइड पे जो वाटर अवेलेबल है वो ऑलरेडी 47% उसमें से सेफ है, अनसेफ लेट्स से 53% के पास अनसेफ जा रहा है। जो आप ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि एक प्रोपोर्शन तो वो भी होगा जिससे ये अवेलेबल ही नहीं होगा, ठीक है? यहाँ अवेलेबल होगा तो पता नहीं उसकी क्या नीड्स होगी, तो ये कंट्राडिक्टरी नहीं है पिक्चर दोनों की? तीसरा बस ये इसके बाद एंड, आप ग्राउंड वाटर के कह रहे हैं कि मैं सियालकोट से हूँ, कि सियालकोट के अंदर ग्राउंड वाटर की यूजेस ज़्यादा है। मैं सैम्पलिंग मतलब मैं अपने जो सैंपल ड्रॉ कर रहा हूँ, मैं जिस जिस जगह को जानता हूँ वो सब वो फिल्टर्ड वाटर यूज़ करते हैं, ग्राउंड वाटर कोई भी यूज़ नहीं करता, वो कंटेमिनेटेड है। अब मैं उधर से ही समझना चाह रहा हूँ।
फिल्टर्ड वाटर भी तो ग्राउंड वाटर ही होगा ना।
अब इस ये जब आप वो पहले वाला सवाल का जवाब देंगे तो शायद मैं बेटर अंडरस्टैंड कर सकूंगा।
पहले आपका क्वेश्चन जो है वो सेफ और अनसेफ हम कैसे निकाल रहे हैं? देखिए, ये इस तरह नहीं है कि हम सोर्स को देख लें कि सेफ है। नो, हमारी 24 ऑफिसेज हैं, और हमारा ये जो प्रोग्राम है ये बेसिकली इसके अंदर जितने भी सिटीज़ हैं हमने ग्रिड बेस्ड के ऊपर वो तमाम सोर्सेज को आइडेंटिफाई किया हुआ है। उसके बाद हमारी जो टीम्स हैं डिफरेंट, जो बेसिकली टेक्निकल टीम्स हैं, वो फील्ड में जाती हैं, और अकॉर्डिंग टू द अमेरिकन पब्लिक हेल्थ प्रोटोकॉल्स के मुताबिक हमारी सैम्पलिंग और टेस्टिंग होती है। कुछ टेस्टिंग हमारी फील्ड में होती है, मोस्टली टेस्टिंग हमारी लैब में होती है। और जब वो लैब में लेके आते हैं तो फिर ये कि हम पूरे प्रोटोकॉल्स फॉलो करते हैं। हमारे पास ISO 17825 लैब्स हैं जहाँ पे टेस्टिंग होती है। उसके बाद वो जो टेस्ट डेटा माइक्रोबायोलॉजिकल एंड फिजिको केमिकल और हैवी मेटल्स का आता है उसको हम पाकिस्तान के नेशनल इन्वायरमेंटल क्वालिटी स्टैंडर्ड्स जो कि ड्रिंकिंग वाटर के लिए हैं उनसे कंपेयर करते हैं और उसके पैरेलल WHO की गाइडलाइन से भी करते हैं, तो देन वी कम अप विद द स्टेटस ऑफ द सेफ एंड द अनसेफ। ये तो एक वो हो गया। अच्छा, दूसरा जो है वो आप कह रहे हैं कि पर कैपिटा वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी। देखिए अभी ये बहुत सारे सवाल इसके ऊपर आते हैं। जो थ्रेशोल्ड लेवल है वो 1000 है। जब आप 1000 से नीचे जाते हैं तो फिर आपकी पर कैपिटा वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी डिक्लाइन पे जाती है। इस वक्त पाकिस्तान की पर कैपिटा वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी 868 क्यूबिक मीटर पर पर्सन एनुअली है, ठीक है, विच इज नॉट वेरी बैड। बट हम अगर कॉन्टेक्स्ट में बात जो पर कैपिटा वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी को आप सेफ वाटर के साथ थोड़ा सा उसे डिफरेंट करके देखें। मैंने पहले आपको बताया था कि पर कैपिटा वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी हाइड्रोलॉजिकली कैलकुलेट होती है बेस्ड ऑन द सरफेस वाटर अवेलेबिलिटी, उसमें ग्राउंड वाटर आता ही नहीं है। तो हम वो कहते हैं कि ये जो 868 है ये बेटर हो सकता है, ये बेटर है एक्चुअली, क्योंकि हमारा ग्राउंड वाटर उसको ऑगमेंट कर रहा है। अच्छा, ग्राउंड वाटर का जो रिचार्ज और एक्सट्रैक्शन का जो मैकेनिज्म है वो ये कि मतलब ऑलमोस्ट सो फार तो ये बैलेंस है, लेकिन हम इसलिए आई ओपनिंग स्टेटमेंट्स देते हैं ताकि जो डिफरेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं वो इसके ऊपर फोकस करें और अपनी मैनेजमेंट को इफेक्टिव करें। जो पानी जो ग्राउंड मोस्टली 90% पानी हम ड्रिंकिंग के लिए यूज कर रहे हैं, अदर देन कुछ एरियाज जिसमें आपके पास आ जाता है कराची आ जाता है, या सिंध के कुछ एरियाज हैं, गिलगित बल्तिस्तान है और पार्टली इस्लामाबाद है। सिर्फ ये 3 एरिया सरफेस वाटर यूज करें, इसलिए ग्राउंड वाटर की क्वालिटी बेटर है।
ऑनलाइन है हमारे साथ डॉक्टर उमर इकबाल।
जी, अस्सलाम वालेकुम, बहुत शुक्रिया इसके प्रेजेंटेशन का। जी, मुझे पूछना था कि आपने आरओ प्लांट को यानी जब सस्टेनेबल कैसे कहते हैं कि जबकि इसमें स्लज के इश्यूज आ जाते हैं और ये हम जानते हैं कि ये बहुत ज़्यादा पावर हंग्री होता है और इसके जो जब फिल्टर बनाए जाते हैं तो उसके लिए जो पेपर इस्तेमाल होता है और वो टेक्नोलॉजी भी उसमें काफ़ी यानी कि उसके इम्पैक्ट भी हैं एनवायरमेंटल। तो इसको अगर एज ए आप नेशनल एजेंसी एक पॉलिसी के तौर पे सस्टेनेबल कह रही है तो ये तो बड़ा एक क्वेश्चन मार्क है। इसके बारे में
मैंने
क्या कहेंगे आप?
मैंने ये बताया आपको कि देखिए जो एरिया टू एरिया वेरी करता है। अगर आप आरओ को कहेंगे ना कि इस्लामाबाद में हमें लगा देना चाहिए और वो सस्टेनेबल होगा, तो दैट इज नॉट जस्टिफाइड, बिकॉज इस्लामाबाद टोटल डिजॉल्व सॉलिड्स जो हैं वो एक रीजनेबल लेस देन 1000 मिलीग्राम पर लीटर है और उसमें एज सच हमें आरओ की जरूरत नहीं है। लेकिन जब आप कराची में जाएंगे जहाँ पे सेलाइन वाटर है, तो सेलाइन वाटर को ट्रीट करने के लिए आपको कोई ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी नहीं है हाउस होल्ड जो कि सेलाइन वाटर को फ्रेश वाटर में कन्वर्ट करेगी या उसका TDS लेवल रिमार्केबली जीरो करेगी। तो जो कोस्टल एरियाज हैं वहां पे डिसैलिनेशन टेक्नोलॉजीज की जरूरत तो है। आप इससे डिसएग्री तो नहीं कर सकते कि आपने सेलाइन वाटर को अगर कन्वर्ट करना है फ्रेश वाटर में या ड्रिंकेबल वाटर में, जहाँ पे फॉर एग्जांपल सिंध के अंदर ग्राउंड वाटर का जो TDS है वो 4000 3500 टू 4000 है, तो जनरली 1000 1200 तक वहाँ पे लोकल कम्युनिटीज रिजिलियंट भी हो जाती हैं उनकी बॉडीज, बट इवन देन देर इज नीड टू रिमूव द सॉल्ट्स फ्रॉम दोज सेलाइन वाटर। सो उसके लिए तो फिर उनको रिवर्स ऑस्मोसिस की जरूरत है। अब ये कम्युनिटी लेड वो प्रोग्राम था जिसमें वो कम्युनिटी ने उसको सस्टेनेबल किया हुआ है क्योंकि कम्युनिटी पार्टिसिपेशन है। लेकिन अगर आप सेंट्रलाइज्ड वाटर सप्लाई सिस्टम की बात करेंगे कराची में, तो उनके भी मतलब वो फ्रेश वाटर किंजर लेक से आ रहा है या हब डैम से आ रहा है, लेकिन अगर वो सेलाइन वाटर को यूज करेंगे तो उनको भी रिवर्स ऑस्मोसिस चाहिए या आयन एक्सचेंज चाहिए, उसके बगैर तो वो सॉल्ट्स नहीं रिमूव कर सकते। PCRWR डज नॉट सजेस्ट reverse osmosis system or any type of the membrane like ion exchange system in those areas where there is no need of these systems, specifically in areas जहाँ पे water saline नहीं है।
जी। So if we don't have any further question, we can conclude the seminar. Madam, thank you very much. Overall, अगर हम देखें तो दिस इज ए ब्लेसिंग कि जी पाकिस्तान में पानी है। वी हैव ग्लेशियर्स, वी हैव रिवर्स एंड वी हैव रेन्स। बहुत से आपको रीजन मिलेंगे कि वहाँ पे रेन ही नहीं है। फॉर एग्जांपल लुक एट ईरान। सो दैट इज़ अ गुड पिक्चर। और बैड पिक्चर ये है कि बट स्टिल वी आर फेसिंग स्कार्सिटी बिकॉज पॉपुलेशन इज़ अ बम। हम ओवर एक्सट्रैक्टिंग कर रहे हैं, देर इज़ नो प्राइसिंग, और हम नेचर को रिचार्ज नहीं कर रहे। और मैं एक स्टडी पढ़ रहा था, बल्कि एक पॉडकास्ट सुन रहा था, तो वो कह रहे थे कि जो हमारा इंडस बेसन है दैट इज़ अ यूनिक बेसन इन द वर्ल्ड, कि अगर आपके पास कोई भी पानी ना हो तो 3 साल का पानी नीचे रिजर्व पड़ा हुआ है, एंड दिस इज़ नॉट कंटेमिनेटेड वाटर, जो इस बेसन के नीचे पानी है। तो अब आपको रादर दैन कि आप डैम बनाएं, एक तो ये भी चॉइस है, और दूसरा ये है कि आप फ्लड के थ्रू, जिस तरह मैडम ने बताया कि फ्लड्स आर ब्लेसिंग एवन, जी, कि आप पे वो फ्लड्स आते हैं और वो ग्राउंड वाटर को रिचार्ज करते हैं, एंड टेक्नोलॉजी इज़ अवेलेबल कि आप 3 साल तक उस पानी को यूज़ कर सकते हैं, उसमें आर्सेनिक नहीं है, वो कंटेमिनेटेड नहीं है। तो मेरे ख्याल से दिस इज़ अ गुड प्रेजेंटेशन, वी हैव लॉट ऑफ नॉलेज, सो मैसेज को इज़ क्वाइट क्लियर कि जी कि हमें पानी की प्राइसिंग करनी है। पाइड की लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च इज़ देयर कि जी जहाँ पे हम कह रहे हैं कि जी एग्रीकल्चर के अंदर प्राइसिंग करें, हाउस होल्ड लेवल पे प्राइसिंग करें, नेचर बेस्ड सोल्यूशन की तरफ जाएं कि जहाँ पे आप नेचर को पानी दें, इकोलॉजी को प्रिजर्व करें कि अगर आपने इस क्लाइमेट को सस्टेन करना है, और उसके साथ आपको क्लाइमेट रिजिलियंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर चाहिए, कीपिंग इन व्यू योर चैलेंजेस। सो मैडम, thank you very much. Dear audience, thank you very much for your listening. So we are concluding this seminar. Thank you.